My internet is not great this morning, so we're going to do the best that we can. I'm trying not to move around much, and but I do have a bunch of stuff to talk about today, and I hope that you've got some big plans for the weekend. I certainly know I do. This is my busy season, and I will be working quite a bit, so that's what I have going on today but and over the weekend. But we've got a lot of stuff happening in the Charlotte metro region, and I want to talk about it over at the end of our call. I do want to talk a little bit about the market and what's going on. I actually just kind of want to talk about some real estate news. Right now we've got and I've got my notes here. Hang on just a second and I'll work through that. My notes are not really working good this morning, guys. I hope that if you've been watching any of this, and right now not many of you have, but that's going to get better over the course of the year. I hope that you've learned that one of the things that I work really hard at is trying to understand our contracts really well. I feel like our contracts have so much power, and if we're following the rules and the guidelines of our real estate commission, everybody has a really strong understanding of what their roles and responsibilities are. I sat with some clients last night to sign a listing agreement, and they are we went through the listing agreement. We went through the offer to purchase. We went through all the documents last night so that they have an understanding of what their responsibility is and also what to expect when an offer comes in. We talked about due diligence. We talked about earnest money. We talked about the timelines, and we also talked about property disclosures. And one of the things that I have this morning on my phone is a text message from my client with all of the stickers off the HVAC and hot water heater. And I run those through AI so that we know exactly the age of those systems, because they're kind of cloudy and they don't remember. So we're going to get the exact age of those systems so that they can disclose that properly. One of the things that I'm seeing in our industry is not holding people accountable to the guidelines in our disclosures. And what I mean by that is there are places in our disclosures where we are to put the ages of the system. It's okay if you don't know, but with a situation like this now, where I can take the stickers on the hot water heater, on the furnace, on the AC unit outside, and run them through AI, and I know exactly when that unit was actually manufactured. And of course, there are going to be some units where those stickers aren't there, but for the most part, they're there. And we can find out not only when they were manufactured, but when they were shipped off to the supplier. So if I can get this information, why would it not be included in a property disclosure? I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but that's the situation here, is that a lot of that information is not included in our disclosures. Look, property disclosures are not like gotcha, we're going to throw you in jail questions. They are, to the best of your knowledge, what do you know about this house? And it is my feeling right now, the more you disclose, the better it is for you. For instance, if you've got a house that's a little bit older and maybe isn't quite as updated, but it's in really good shape, or maybe you need some things that are repaired, it's just better to tell buyers so you can set the expectation. Here's the problem. If you go into a house, and I see this a lot with homes that are flipped. So an investor comes in, buys a house, fixes it up, many times throws a lipstick on a pig, and then puts it back on the market. Buyers have an expectation that because that house has had some renovations, that it's going to be in really, really good condition. And that's not always the case. And where I run into trouble is when the expectation of the home being in good shape is not met. When we have unrealized expectations in a real estate transaction, people get upset. People start going a little sideways because they don't like surprises. I don't like surprises. I doubt you like surprises, at least not bad surprises. And this is a situation where I have to manage people's expectations. So right now with our market, because it's not a bad market. We're going to talk about some numbers in a minute. But compared to nationally, it's not a bad market, but it is not the market that it was a couple of years ago. And people tend to remember the good times and forget the bad times, right? And we all want it to be 2021, and it's just not. What it is at least on the seller side, they want it 2021. Where we are now is that you want to have good disclosures. You want to have floor plans of the house within the photo section with measurements of those rooms. You want to walk through video. You want right now, I'm recommending people get a pre-listing inspection with a list of repairs that they've done. Because if you've got someone coming from out of town and I can say to them, hey, look, this house has been inspected. Here's the inspection report. These are the repairs that were done. These are the receipts for the repairs. This is the floor plan. This is the walkthrough video. Tell me what else you need. This is how we get home sold. And if it's just, I'm going to take pictures on my cell phone, throw them up on the MLS and see what we can get. That's not a good marketing plan right now, especially with, a slower market. You want to get your home sold in the quickest amount of time for the most amount of money, least amount of time, most amount of money. And you do that by giving sellers the warm and fuzzy about your house so that they can, if they're looking at 2 or 3, here's the one. All right. So let's get back to what I wanted to talk about today, which was a little bit of Charlotte news about pricing. Okay. Charlotte's median home price, and this is for the entire region. So, we've looked at different things, but over the entire region, the median home price is $385. That's median. That's not average. Okay. It's in March, this March, it was up 2.7% from last year, which is good. Because we don't want to be going in a southerly region when it comes to home pricing, unless you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, you want pricing to go down. But what it's not doing is exponentially increasing like we saw a few years ago. Okay. In 2019, our median was 225,000. So now we're at 385. So you can see that big jump there. Okay. So despite a slight cool down, which is what we've had, our market is still very solid. Home values are expected to rise 0.7% by May 25, this month. Happy May. And 3.5 to 4.8% over the next year. The reason why is we have a lot of jobs. We have banking jobs. And people want to move here and we don't have enough inventory. Okay. So that's a big thing. I did some looking on some social media pages that I'm on about investors. And there was a story about one local investor. He just listed a three bed, 2 bath under 250, which is like, that's the golden price point. If you can get under 250, and there's not that many homes, but if you can find a 3.2 for under 250, it had 5 showings in one day. That is to be expected. It is that piece of the market is going to be very aggressive, and that house more than likely will sell over list. 25% of sales in 2021 were purchased by investors. I don't see that as much now because the prices have significantly increased. But I have a girlfriend who works for a broker that only lists hedge fund homes. And she's working on they're releasing about 150 houses that are going to be sold this year. And they have an agent in Raleigh. She works Charlotte to Charleston and to Greenville. Like, she's really busy right now. So these hedge funds are starting to release some of their inventory. So we'll see how that goes over the next year. She's been a great source of information for me about the market in that space. Now, apartments, oh my gosh, all you have to do is like just even squint a little bit and you'll see an apartment complex go up. If you're driving down the Monroe bypass, there's a big one there that's gone up and it's been finished. Actually, I think they're building some more buildings, but people are already in some of those units. We have 29,000 in the Charlotte area under apartments under construction right now. It's pushing rents down a little bit, which is good because rents were getting really expensive. They're still expensive, but rents, that's going to push rents down a little bit. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, it means that all real estate is local. And you might be hearing some negative stuff about the market in a national sense. But here in the Charlotte metro region, our real estate market is steady, which is good. We're not seeing significant, massive pricing increases. We are seeing sellers that actually have to hire agents that know what they're doing. You can't, I joke about a 3-point marketing plan: take pictures, put on MLS and pray. You can't do that. You've got to market this home. And it is taking some time sometimes to get homes sold. And that is an expectation I try to meet with my sellers, which is you're not going to get your home sold probably in 24 hours. We are going to be in it for a while, and I need you to understand that. So that's what we're doing with my listings. Listing is an art, not a science. And there's a lot of stuff that I have to look at in order to make good decisions about pricing. I also have to work with my clients. I'm doing that today. I've got a client that just has not made the best decisions with pricing his home, and I've got to sit down and have a good conversation with them today. He thinks he's listed his home too low, but the showings are telling us that the listing, that's just the markets it's not compelling in the market. So these are the conversations I'm having. I hate to have them. I want homes sold quickly. I want our listings to fly off the market. But sometimes when you get into multi-million dollar price points, or just listings get stale, this is what happens. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. I've got some showings. I'm showing homes in Firethorn, which is a relatively expensive neighborhood in Union County on a golf course. I'm going to be down a little bit further in South Carolina on Sunday showing homes in a much lower price point, but all the same, these are clients that want to move here and are buying homes. So this is what's going on. So let's talk about what's going on over the weekend. So first thing, because I come from a horse racing background and a horse racing family, first Saturday in May is tomorrow, and I will be watching the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to be watching the Oaks tonight. That's I'm sorry, my dogs. That's the race for fillies tonight. The Kentucky Oaks is a full day of racing for fillies, and tomorrow's colts and otherwise. So anyway, so I hope you can watch it. I love horse racing. This weekend is the Lovin' Life Music Festival. This is a very big festival happening in Uptown Charlotte. And let me see if I can show this to you. I don't know if I can. Yep. All right. We're going to talk about this too. You'll like this. Let me see. All right. So this is the festival map. So as you can see, North Caldwell Street, East 6th, the light rail, and East 9th is the area. So this is right in Uptown Charlotte. And here's the lineup. There's a lot. This is like a blast from the past for me. Gwen Stefani's going to be there, Third Eye Blind, Dave Matthews, Pitbull, Weezer. This is going to be a big deal in Uptown Charlotte. So first of all, if you're going to Uptown Charlotte today or this weekend, be careful. There's going to be a ton of traffic. This is like, I think they had some photos. Let me see if I can find the like, this is a big deal. And there's a lot of people that are going to be there. And I would just, if you can stay away from Uptown Charlotte this weekend, I would do it. That's just me. And then also on today and tomorrow is the South Carolina Strawberry Festival in Fort Mill. I love strawberry festivals. There was one in another town close to where I grew up, and we always had a blast. There was a parade and, strawberry cooking competitions and all sorts of things like that. But I really, really enjoy it. And if I wasn't working all day tomorrow, I would probably do this. But if you are, somewhere around the Fort Mill area and want to have something fun to do this weekend, I would absolutely consider going to the South Carolina Strawberry Festival. It looks like a really good day or couple of days. And they have, I think it looks like a little midway and some food trucks and things. So I hope that you'll get out this weekend and go take a look at what's going on in around town. I'll be watching the Derby tomorrow evening. And I hope you have a great weekend. I will not see you on the 4th. So I will say early, may the 4th be with you. But I will see you on Cinco de Mayo, Monday, 9:30 a.m. like I do every day. I am here. I hope that you will come for a visit. If you want to get hooked up with my newsletter, charlottemarketbuzz.com, CLTMARKETBUZZ.com is the website for that. I will not spam you, but I will send you a weekly newsletter on what is going on in over the weekend and what we talked about during the week in our show. All right. Well, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Happy Friday to you all. I will see you on Monday morning and have a great one. Bye.